Today marks the second phase of the running series on gender dynamics in the higher education sector. And the focus for today is to gain a deeper understanding of existing tools that could be used to facilitate gender equality in the higher education sector. And to help us do that, we have Dr. Alessandra Devoto, who is the Athena Swan Charter Champion for the School of Biological Sciences here at Royal Holloway University of London. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and welcome to Research Live. So now, taking off, looking back at your academic career, do you feel you faced any gender-specific challenges? And if so, how did you address them?
Okay, they were never open challenges.
Mm-hmm.
There was always something that was going on, probably the way certain things were said or done that put me off sometimes. And so that's probably due to the way we react differently to things, and I say maybe women from men. So, and that was probably the main, it was the unsaid that was mainly the biggest problem. There was never an open discrimination at all. I've never faced that, and I was supported by many of my bosses, and most of them were male. But I had a couple of very inspiring women in my career. I was lucky to meet and I have a couple of role models, and I think that is something that the younger generation should be coming across, or at least should be able to come across role models more often, alumni or again, people that have certain experiences, or even strong women are usually the key, right? The ones that I thought were strong women. So they really helped me through the process. So, but it was never an open challenge. It was mainly an unsaid, non-declare attitude that sometimes put me off.
Alessandra, let's walk through your experience. From the point of view of your academic experience, how useful have schemes such as the Aurora Programme been?
Okay, I was on the Aurora Programme last year. So when I had this opportunity, I was already a senior lecturer. I wish that opportunity would have come earlier and such schemes would have been available to me, and I wish for other early career researchers much earlier in their career. Because it was a great experience, and one of the main messages is that you get into this room that is full with another 200 women that are all there for the same reason. And that in itself is very inspiring, and feeling that you are not alone, it's very important. And maybe it's important for me more than others, but in science or in this type of work in research, teams are very important. So for me, finding myself in a group where there were other women and they were there for the same reason, essentially because they were trying to understand more about themselves and how to become leaders, that was very important. And so there were several strategies that were taught to us, ways to talk even, ways to put messages across, and those was really important. We had, again, role models there, and with some you can identify better, with others, of course, less well. But that was kind of important also to see how women can cope and can really swap between their career and their family. But that was mainly the awareness, becoming aware of the fact that that was not my problem. It was the problem of many other women in science in that case, but in for every level of the career, that was true. So there weren't only academics there were administrators as well. So, and they all had the same problem. So that's why they were there. And it was very important, it was very inspiring. And that happened together with another program that was set up here at Royal Holloway, and that was, I think, a very, very good initiative was set up by our senior management team. It was a scheme where women were encouraged to evaluate their career and see whether they could have applied or not for promotion. And as such, these two events coincide. My participation to the Aurora Programme and to this workshop that was tailored for promotion, and then was the only time I applied for promotion. So I thought, just to answer your question more directly at the end, is that it was incredibly useful, and I would recommend it.
Do you agree that we have listened some comments on previous interview? Do you agree that women just apply for a promotion when they think that they have all the requirements that they ask? Let's imagine there's a promotion offer and a woman go and say, yes, I tick all the boxes. Or there is as well the case of men that they say, yeah, why not? I will give a go. Do you think that we follow this pattern?
It's something that through my career I heard quite a lot, and is about the things that we do, women and men, we do them in different ways. And indeed, we feel that if we apply for a job, then we have to fulfill all the criteria. And in fact, now at Royal Holloway, what they are really looking at also the way the phraseology for the job advert is done, because there is an unconscious bias there, and according to the way certain concepts are phrased, then women do not apply. So I do think, yes, that for promotion, in many cases, I've come across women that would never go for it, and that you can recognize already this behavior with the undergraduates. In the undergraduates, you have two students, one that goes very well, and the other one that is a woman that is also going very well, but she doesn't talk about it. So I had cases where these undergraduates were here in my office because I am a tutor for many students, and one student got a first in their coursework, and it was a male, and then he turned to the female, and then he said, look at this, look what I've done. And she just looked at him and said, okay. And then later on I said, why didn't you tell him that you had actually a higher mark? She didn't say it. She said, oh, that's okay. I said, no, it's not okay. So these are examples. So, but yes, I think it's, I don't know why. It's the way we are, but not all males are like that, of course. But it's clearly probably more of a widespread phenomenon, and that we are asked to do 10 things. That's the clear example, right? You probably heard about this before. You ask him to do 10 things. Men does them, and they just say, oh, I've done 5 out of 10 things. The other 5 were not really necessary. And then the woman does 5, and he comes back with 5 things done, and then she said, I'm really sorry, I only managed to do 5. I couldn't finish the other 5. So we really are our own enemy in that respect, because I don't think men do it, probably necessarily are aware of these, and we are more sensitive for certain things, and then there are more off-putting attitudes. So, but of course, I'm probably a bit, maybe an exception here. I'm not sure whether I am or not, but yes. So yes, definitely, I have seen more men going through promotion with less preparation. And I certainly spent a long time to prepare myself for promotion.
In the Aurora program, you were talking about, what was the main issue you thought all of the people there were facing? Was it actually the promotion or the team managing and the actual assertiveness in leadership?
Yeah, for the Aurora program, there was assertiveness in leadership. It was about becoming leader. Yes, it was for leadership. That happened to be just coinciding with the promotion workshop that was run here at Royal Holloway, and that of course was very helpful. But yes, the Aurora is of course about leadership and management, managing teams. So there are various aspects about that are treated there. So yeah, and that is I think is very useful. Yes, another scheme that they've recently set up is about demystifying finances, because they realize that women maybe don't go for certain jobs because there are a lot of numbers involved, and that's scary for some, for many, don't know.
You've mentioned the potential benefits of participating in these schemes with yourself as an example. So there are good things, but then there is always room for improvement. So I'm just wondering whether you have any suggestions regarding modifications to existing schemes to make them better.
It's a big question. I mean, what I said is for sure the making them available to early career researchers. And of course the emphasis at that point needs to be different, because you don't only manage teams, it's kind of preparing for what comes after and what you can do really with your life after a degree and maybe even a PhD in science and in higher education more generally. So it's difficult at the moment to probably come up with a suggestion directly, but certainly that's what I said. It would have been so much better if I could have participated to such scheme earlier on in my career, and not because I wasn't made. It's not they didn't exist, because this awareness was not there. Such schemes were not there. And they are not there still for the early career researchers. It always depends on their own initiative, of the single individuals, and how good their bosses are in making people aware, and that creates a lot of dependency. So they should be extended for sure, and there should be some created specifically probably for already undergraduates and PhD students. And I think one of the keys is being proactive about making these, as you are running this scheme, for example, and having realized what the limitations are and what are the blocks really that we all face at certain levels of our career, then what we can do to make this more available.
You have a really successful career. We have seen. We can see through this interview, and I really recommend all listening to see your career and do some research. We have seen that the Devoto lab have seen nearly 90 researchers. Could you give us some keys for being successful?
That's a difficult one. Firstly, because as a woman, I don't see myself as particularly successful, and that tells you a lot. And but I have had, of course, a number of years in academia, and of course I had undergraduates and graduate students, and I can say that probably what helped me throughout, and that's probably for the person I am, is the enthusiasm and at the same time determination. Clearly hard work, but we're all prepared to do that. But I've never lost, despite certain challenges, my enthusiasm for the things that I do. And that's what I always try to tell the students. If there's something that you like, try to pursue that. And it almost comes on its own. So, but it's a lot of work. You have to look for what's available also in terms of grant funding, funding bodies, and I think, yes, as I said, enthusiasm and determination, if that can be enough. But yes, it's a lot of work, I can say. It doesn't come, automatically without a lot of work, I think, I'm afraid. And of course, if you like what you're doing, that helps. And I still like it.
I'm going to go back to the actual programs in existence at the moment, because I would like you to talk us through the Athena Swan, since we know you're the champion here at the School of Biology at Royal Holloway. So a bit of background of what is it and what is the best we can get out of it as early career academics and also while more experienced academics.
Well, what the Athena Swan Charter was set up initially, especially for women in science, and just trying to acknowledge the situation and then make it better, and that through various steps. So by recognizing how many women were in a certain discipline, mainly STEM, as undergraduate and then postgraduate, and then in the academia, whether they were senior lecturer, reader, professors. And there was clearly, for what concerned the School of Biological and Sciences, clearly a dramatic decrease going from undergraduate to professors. And essentially the Athena Swan trying to address the inequalities, and try to make sure that it's not just women having to fit with a certain scheme, but the scheme may need changing. What they've done now, in relatively recent times, the Athena Swan has expanded into the Equality Challenge unit. And in fact, in the School of Biological Sciences, we have an Equality Challenge coordinator now, alongside with myself, because what they've now done, they've included not just the academic, the administrators, but also the technicians. So try to cover really all the spectra and the various categories. And of course is more widely applicable, not just to gender, but also to inequalities of other types, like race and this. So, and of course the remit is wider, and is not just for women in science. Debatable, but it is true that in many departments, it still is not equal. Yes. So, and yes. So that was very much like what, in general, what I know about the scheme, and of course there is more to that, and so driving the application through the Athena Swan Award was quite a challenge to make sure that that was real, and it was addressing internal problems in the department, and making sure that we're through an action plan with deadlines, so you have to have smart objectives, so that are measurable. Eventually the situation is addressed.
So you saw changes throughout the years in which you've been...
Yes, definitely. From the moment we started applying, as I said, it wasn't an easy process, but it was truly a very useful one, encouraging transparency, encouraging communication and openness.
Alessandra, how you had, as we heard, like a lot of early career researchers passing through your lab and passing through your life in a way. So how do you actually nurture them?
Okay, there isn't a magic formula, I'm afraid, and you need to adapt your teaching and managing style to different people, and that's one of the most difficult things to do. And again, also adapting a little bit that according to whether you have a male or a female in front of you. And I found that they can pick up signals very easily, and therefore I think it's important to be honest with them, and that's honesty about what they do and honestly about what it will be possible to do in their career. And I try to do that as much as possible, and I think I have reward, and probably in this respect I have people coming back to me and saying, almost not believing that I'm giving them this much information. And but I think the most important thing is treating them with respect, being honest, and trying to adapt as much as possible. And that takes a lot of work. the teaching and the managing style to the person you have in front. I'm afraid you can't use just one formula for everybody. As a manager anyway, you can't please everybody, and it's never easy. But I think that they can pick up many signals. So if you really believe in them, they know. And that's another thing. What make the difference for me is having people that believed in what I was doing, and in most of the cases, I have to say, and that really encourages you a lot. So motivation and encouragement, not just for the sake of it, but realizing what's the importance of the work, and that's really. But again, it would be very good to be supported by schemes that are not just simply career oriented, but they are basically making these early career researchers aware of the possibilities and also the limitations. So, and it's probably not just one-stop shop there, but I think this is a way we could really look after them, and we can't do it on our own as academics. We clearly need people like you that set up these schemes, I think, as well.
So like a mentoring, coaching type of.
Yes, I think so. I offer coaching and mentoring, probably more to postgraduate and I'm advisor of various postgraduate students. But again, there is only, for example, peer mentoring between undergraduates, and it would be really good if we have time to do that. But of course there is so many undergraduates that is very difficult to mentor them all, so that could be something that should be looked at. We have the tutoring scheme here at Royal Holloway, which is quite good in the School of Biological Sciences, so we actually do take care of small groups of students, and this is going from academic care and also pastoral care. So, and that's very helpful, but still we have very little time. If you think we have to take care every year of about 25-30 students, and how many hours in a week, together with the lectures and the research and the administration, it doesn't leave much time. So there should be a pipeline, probably a more organized pipeline from the undergraduates to the postgraduates, and then eventually what comes after, because it becomes a bottleneck, clearly. There are many more undergraduates than the places in the universities or elsewhere to do research.
Given your wealth of experience, if you were to start your career again, what would you do differently?
I'm trying to go back to my career. I probably learned to delegate too late and trying to do everything myself, and trying to make sure that everything was precise, and because of this love for the science. If I could change something, maybe just trying to stand up for myself with a bit more determination, something that I have learned a little bit too late in life. Because in terms of the career path, moving from Italy, coming to UK, I wouldn't change it, because clearly, again, UK is one of the places that probably treats women better, especially in science. So we shouldn't say that, maybe, but it's true. So, and that's one of the reasons why I also left Italy. Yes.
Okay. On that positive note, thank you very much for having the time off your busy schedule to have the discussion with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for asking me.